Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're unpacking a harsh but honestly super empowering truth from our source material. We're getting right into what it really means to take extreme responsibility for your own personal growth. So we're going to challenge you to embrace the silence, do the invisible work, and, step away from the crowd. Let's just dive right in.
We're hitting the ground running here with a stark, kind of uncomfortable realization. Nobody is coming to save you. Sounds intense, right? But the source really emphasizes that while this might sound totally bleak, this painful moment, it's actually the exact beginning of your true transformation. I mean, nobody's going to wake up every single morning and fight your battles. Nobody's going to build your discipline for you or carry your dreams on their shoulders. Realizing this, it completely forces you to take the wheel of your own life. And that brings us to a really crucial question. Will your pain break you or build you? We really have to establish these high emotional stakes right off the bat here, because pain and struggle, they're just inevitable parts of life. But, as the text points out, your interpretation of that pain literally controls your destiny. So will your struggles become excuses, or are they going to become your fuel?
All right, Section 1. The painful, necessary realization and embracing the storms.
This source uses a brilliant metaphor here that I absolutely love. Think about a tree for a second. A tree doesn't grow deep, strong, unbreakable roots because it lives in some comfortable, protected greenhouse, right? No, it develops those roots specifically because it's forced to face harsh winds and violent storms. You literally have to weather the storm. As the source beautifully puts it, your life changes when you stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me? It's all about shifting entirely away from a victim mentality and becoming a dedicated student of your own struggles. That is exactly how you turn a painful experience into an incredibly powerful foundation for your life, by recognizing that every single difficulty actually carries a hidden lesson.
Moving on to Section 2. Comfort is the enemy and the trap of staying put.
It's just human nature to run toward the easy paths. But comfort, it whispers these sweet lies like, wait until tomorrow, telling you that you're perfectly fine just as you are. Growth, on the other hand, demands that you leave your old self behind. The source material actually compares this to a butterfly. A butterfly absolutely must endure the immense struggle of leaving the safety of its cocoon if it ever actually wants to fly. A seed has to literally break open to become a tree. Growth demands that we completely abandon the safety of who we used to be, even when it feels totally terrifying.
Which leads us into Section 3, motivation versus true discipline and the compound effect.
So how do we actually push through that comfort zone? Well, we often hear about needing motivation to succeed, but think about it. Motivation is kind of like the weather. Some days it's sunny, some days it's totally cloudy. You just can't rely on it. Instead, the source elevates discipline, and it defines it not as a punishment, which is, let's be honest, how society usually frames it, but as the act of keeping promises to yourself. It's the absolute foundation of self-trust and confidence. It's an active daily practice. Every single time you honor a commitment you made to yourself, like actually waking up when your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze, or finally finishing that project, you build undeniable evidence that you can trust yourself. And that self-trust, that is the true source of inner confidence.
So how does this actually work in practice? It's pretty simple. Step 1, commit to a small action. Step 2, repeat consistently. Step 3, watch your identity transform. See, your daily habits and routines are simply votes for the person you are becoming. You don't wait to feel disciplined to act. You become disciplined by practicing discipline over and over until it literally just becomes who you are.
And honestly, it all comes down to this number right here, 1%. The source really anchors the idea that improving just 1% every single day through thousands of small, almost invisible choices creates an entirely different destination over time. It's the law of accumulation. Success isn't just one dramatic moment or one viral video or some lucky break. It's those 1% choices. It's the extra hour of reading. It's the money saved when no one is looking, repeated day after day after day.
Now for Section 4, the invisible season of growth and trusting the process.
You know the heartbreaking reasons so many people fail? It's that they quit right before their story changes for the better. Just look at the seasons of growth using the source's farmer metaphor. Season 1 is planting the seeds. Season 2 is watering them daily. Season 3 is growing those invisible roots beneath the soil. And then finally, Season 4 is the harvest. I mean, you can't dig up a seed the day after planting it just to see if it's growing, but in our lives, we often do exactly that. We confuse invisible progress with no progress. People absolutely love the harvest, but they kind of hate the silent, invisible planting season. You just have to trust that the roots are growing even when you can't see the tree quite yet.
Section 5.
The power of responsibility and choosing to be creators over victims. Because how we handle that invisible season is basically everything. This is all about accepting complete, unadulterated ownership of your path. Notice the super distinct difference in mindsets here. A victim focuses on blaming the past and blaming others. They're constantly asking, who can save me? And they just wait around for permission to move forward. But a creator owns their response to every single situation. They ask, what can I learn from this? And they actively build and adapt. The text asserts this really powerful truth. When you blame, you literally give your power away to whatever you're blaming. But when you take extreme responsibility, you become dangerous in the absolute best possible way. You stop waiting and you start building.
Because ultimately we're all choosing between two types of pain: the temporary pain of discipline versus the permanent regret of unrealized potential. It's a pretty stark rhetorical contrast presented in our source material. And yeah, discipline hurts today. Sacrifice hurts today. Saying no to all those distractions hurts right now. But imagine the pain of looking back years from now and realizing you never even tried. The source reminds us that failure teaches you, but regret haunts you. You really have to choose your pain wisely.
All right, our final section. Section 6, Meeting Your Future Self and the Ultimate Choice.
Let's bring this all together by introducing you to the most important person in this entire explainer, your future self. The source asks us this really profound hypothetical question. Imagine standing face to face with the exact person you'll be 5 years from today. What determines who that person standing across from you will actually be? Well, your private discipline creates your public destiny. The source continually reminds us that true character, it isn't built on a stage. It's built in the private, silent hours. It's the late-night studying, the working out, the resisting temptation when absolutely nobody is watching, nobody is cheering, and nobody would even know if you gave up. The world often only sees the result, but that hidden, invisible work, that is what actually creates the life that everyone will eventually see and respect.
Which leaves us with a final, incredibly powerful question. Will your future self thank you or ask why you wasted your potential? Your future is not created by what you hope for. It's created by what you do. Every choice you make today is a literal conversation with your future. So, as we wrap up this explainer, the challenge from the source material is crystal clear. Make those solitary, disciplined choices today. Make the choices your future self will be immensely proud of tomorrow. Stop waiting around, take responsibility, and build yourself. Thanks so much for joining me as we explore these concepts, and I'll catch